Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving straight into the hidden mechanics of industrial efficiency. It's called the architecture of proactive plant reliability. I know, right? Sounds super technical at first glance. But honestly, at its core, it's this fascinating look into human psychology, organizational culture, and, well, the totally bizarre paradox of how we almost always end up rewarding the exact wrong behaviors in business.
Okay, so think about this scenario for a second. Catching an escaped horse in the middle of the night versus just fixing the gate so it never gets loose in the first place. When you look at human nature, we naturally praise the hero, right? The person who dramatically rescues that horse in the dark, especially if they save it from running right into traffic. I mean, it's a huge event. But we completely ignore the person who just quietly went out on a Tuesday afternoon with a wrench and fixed the gate latch. There's no drama, no adrenaline, and absolutely no recognition for the person who literally prevented the crisis from ever happening. And this brilliantly illustrates the business equivalent of that exact same horse story. On one hand, we literally hand out trophies for frantic, all-night pump repairs. Picture a maintenance crew, right? They're sweating, working through the night, maybe even air freighting spare parts just to get a massive steam boiler feed pump ready for the morning electric load. Management goes out, buys a shiny plaque from the local trophy shop, and hangs it in the break room to honor these chaotic firefighters. But on the other side, you've got this flawless 49 megawatt unit, a massive piece of power generating equipment that hits a perfect 100% availability record for the entire fiscal year. And the reward? Absolutely nothing. Crickets. Management just completely ignores it, usually saying something like, well, that record is just what we pay the personnel for. See, we naturally reward reactive maintenance, but we constantly fail to celebrate proactive success. Now, what's really fascinating here is the financial reality behind all this chaos. It's known as the 1-10-100 rule, and it fundamentally changes how we should be looking at plant operations and budgets. So every single dollar you spend upfront during engineering to reduce maintenance, it eliminates a massive cascade of future costs. That one initial dollar saves you $10 in proper maintenance down the line, or an incredible $100 in breakdown maintenance. Like when you're rushing to fix a broken machine under extreme schedule pressure, it is never cost efficient. You end up paying that $100 penalty simply because, well, you skipped the $1 investment at the very beginning. This crucial point was summed up perfectly way back in 1993 by Gifford Brown of Ford Motor Company. He argued that the company vision should be how to prevent maintenance, not how to do it efficiently. I want you to let that sink in for a second. A company's ultimate goal absolutely shouldn't be about building the fastest, most efficient repair crew in the world. It should be about eliminating the need for maintenance entirely. You really want to put all your effort into purchasing and designing machines that need zero attention, because at the end of the day, any organization would prefer equipment that just runs constantly without anyone ever having to lay a finger on it. And DuPont's Philip Young built on this exact same idea a few years later in 1997. He pointed out a really serious industry fault. We typically just do not involve what he calls maintenance intellect upfront. So by far, your greatest opportunities to save money and ensure reliability exist before a piece of equipment is ever even installed. Leaving your maintenance experts out of the initial blueprint and design phase, it's a massive missed opportunity. These are the folks who know exactly what breaks, why it breaks, and how to avoid those really costly failures from day one. When they aren't sitting in the room during the design phase, you're pretty much just setting yourself up for super expensive breakdowns later on. So how do we fix this costly blind spot? Well, organizations have to execute a really clear two-step process. Step one actually starts long before the plant is even built. You absolutely must work actively with your engineering and construction departments way before installation. You've got to get that maintenance intellect into the room while the blueprints are still wet, you know? And then comes step two. Once the equipment is actually installed and up and running, you have to shift to a strictly proactive paradigm. You just can't wait around for things to break anymore. You have to anticipate them. But what does that actually mean in real life? Well, proactive maintenance is simply acting before breakdowns occur to recognize and address situations before they become urgent, hair-on-fire problems. So once the machines are bolted down and turned on, true proactive maintenance means you are constantly monitoring and acting well before an issue becomes a high-stress, schedule-crushing breakdown. Because think about it, breakdowns don't just interrupt your revenue stream, they physically destroy really expensive components. You really do not want to be in the business of recovering lost capacity through panicked repairs. You want to maintain it steadily and calmly. And according to the concepts laid out by John Day Jr., staying proactively involved with your equipment requires a rhythmic, highly controlled approach using 4 very specific pillars. First up is preventative maintenance. Think of this like your car's routine checkups and oil changes. Second is predictive maintenance, which is basically using data and sensors to foresee failures before they even happen. It's almost like having a crystal ball. Third, we have corrective maintenance, so jumping in to fix minor flaws early before they snowball into disasters. And finally, fourth is project work. This is all about upgrading systems and redesigning parts to just eliminate chronic weaknesses altogether. By managing these four areas effectively, maintenance programs stay constantly involved with the equipment to prevent the decline or total loss of capacity. By fully embracing these four pillars, we fundamentally shift our entire mindset. It really highlights the vast difference between merely providing a reactive repair service versus producing a truly profitable product, which in this case is reliable capacity. Really think about that shift for a second. Maintenance is not just a bunch of mechanics sitting around waiting for a pager to go off so they can go fix broken parts. No, effective maintenance is an active, ongoing production line itself, and the highly valuable product they are manufacturing every single day is pure plant capacity.
Which brings us to this definitive, bottom line aha moment. Effective maintenance provides reliable plant capacity. Management has to make this exact connection in their organizational vision if they want to produce a profitable product. It's about recognizing that avoiding urgent schedule pressures, preventing breakdowns, and maintaining a totally steady flow of operation is what truly drives long-term success. It is absolutely not about how fast you can put out a fire. It is entirely about engineering the environment so the fire literally never starts in the first place.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you to ponder this one really vital question. Who is getting the trophies in your business right now? Are you currently rewarding the chaotic firefighters who swoop in and save the day at the last minute, usually at a massive premium? Or are you actively finding ways to celebrate the quiet, highly profitable planners who fixed the gate before the horse ever even got loose? Rethinking who you celebrate just might change the future of your entire operation. Keep that in mind, and hey, thanks for joining me as we explored the architecture of proactive plant reliability.